Please put your hands together for Robyn Exton, the co-founder of Dattch, a splendid and beautiful and charming woman. Robyn, please will you come and take a seat on my lovely sofa of love? Thank you. Next up we have Dave Killeen from Badoo. Now, will you please welcome Dave to my sofa of love? And lastly, but certainly not least, just because he's a bit bigger than I am, please will you welcome Samir, and I'm gonna try and get this right, buddy. I'm gonna apologise. El-Alami. I fucked that completely. That was even worse, wasn't it? That was Samir from Lovestruck. And Robyn, you're taking a slightly different approach on this.
One country, one language. So not quite the same scale. We're like a startup dating product, which we describe as the first dating product built for women. So from the ground up, everything has been built and optimized really for women. It's a lesbian dating app, but we also have curious or bisexual women on it, but it's a female-only community.
I mean, it's a bit of, you are caught in a sort of difficult ground, really, because obviously lesbian women are very attractive to men.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah. I imagine, quite frustrating.
It's the third highest search term on Pornhub. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. If only they fully realised themselves, perhaps that would stop happening. And so, how have you been sort of combating this problem of men arriving?
So when I first started not knowing as much about product that I do now, we used to have 9 stages in the sign-up process, which for a startup is a really bad idea.
Without being too crude, what are you trying to look for?
Well, anything that's obviously illegal. And so the way Badoo works as well, so you've got public folders, you've got private folders, and so obviously certain content needs to go into private folders. Certain people try to put that in their public folders. We don't want that in there, so it gets moderated across.
Do they have any sort of counselling for seeing so much penises?
I've not actually met these poor guys, but it's a very good question. I'm loving where this is going.
Right to it. Brilliant. Awesome. I did have another question, but I completely distracted myself with that little witty rejoin. Do you think that maybe actually by being so large, you're unable to perhaps cater exactly to the sort of, obviously, we've got sort of 3 quite different companies here. We've got this kind of, without being too rude, a sort of Death Star approach of Badoo here. We've got this sort of... Death Star. I'm like an older one. Yeah, you're older one. And then we have the Jedi Force here at the end, you see. I tend to favour smaller companies, I apologise, but that's who I am. It almost sounds like a bit of a sort of stupid business to be in lots of ways. I mean, obviously it's highly lucrative at £39 a month, or micropayments on 230 million, or however Dattch decides to find her money, I'm sure.
So much money coming through right now.
But I mean, like you said, you're not going to get your dedicated, sort of end-to-end users. You're not going to get the sort of, what's the lifetime value of a customer?
Very high.
They stay in, yeah?
Very high. You got to think of it. Don't think of online dating like it's something different to real life. It's not. Anybody who tells you you find love online, or you're a type of person who needs to find love online, is just a charlatan. It's just real life. How many people do you want to meet in a day? I'd love to meet hundreds. But I can't, because every time I try, people think I'm crazy. I just walk up to somebody in the tube and touch them. It's like, it's just not cool.
Maybe don't start with the touching.
Imagine, when
the touching is a really bad idea.
I'm from Morocco. We touch, all right? It's like kiss on the cheek.
This is where you're going wrong. You could do very well without this.
Really?
Please. Don't touch.
I let myself down. But I'm in all seriousness, online dating is a bolt onto real life. It doesn't replace going out. It doesn't replace meeting friends with friends.
It's not. It was a fantastic and fascinating and interesting debate. It only really leaves us to thank Robyn, Dave, and Samir for their time. Thank you so much.